Good afternoon. I'm USA forecaster, vice forecaster JD Rapp with you, and USA forecaster center today to keep you up on the speed on the latest information. We just have a tornado warning has been issued, so let's go right to the speed right now. Keep the radar, and I'll keep you informed on this one. This is a tornado warning right now has been issued. So let's go. So the storm still showing signs of some weak wind sheared. Tornado wind continues about 5 o'clock. So north central Burnt Parish, central Louisiana, south central Vernon Parish, and central Louisiana. And moving to at 4:35 Central Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Mare Vermonista 20 miles an hour, so hazardous tornado. So this is a radar circulation. So remember, if you're in the path of this tornado warning, this is the time to move to your tornado safe spot. Get to the lowest level of your home. Stay away from windows. Right now, so if you're in the path of the storm right now, not the time to activate your tornado plan of action. Is seek shelter in the basement, small to your room. Put a football helmet on the kids. Make sure you have one for adults. This is a situation where you could these tornadoes could be rain wrapped. You don't know if they are. So seek shelter, lowest floor of your home. Put many walls between you as possible. So this is the time to act your tornado plan to action. So look at the echo tops very low. That's where it is. But hail looks very low. But this storm over here, decent have some more large hail. This storm over here, so we could be getting another supercell forming. So we could be spending some more time with you. So if you just join me now, we have a tornado warning that goes in effect into about 5 p.m. No confirmed report of a tornado on the ground right now, but there is potentially a rotating storms right now. So this is the time you want to be in your tornado safe spot, is putting many walls between you as possible. So drill in one more time. If you just join me now, we have a tornado warning. Goes in effect about 5 p.m. Let's see what we got in place. Showing signs of some sheared, red next to green. Let's see here. Velocities give me signs. This is a radar indicated tornadoes. It doesn't mean we have tornadoes on the ground right now, but it's giving me signs. It's some pretty decent strong sheared right here. So you definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe spot right now, and stay away from windows. So back out closely. While we're on the air, we'll take a look at these other cells right quick, and Isaac will be joining us just in a little bit. So yeah, there still shows that potentially of some weak shear right over here. So this could be a tornado right over here. Some weak shear, so we could be getting some more rotation. About 50% on that storm, starting to get some more sheared. So yeah, this one has about a 50% of coming severe. So we could be getting 2 tornadoes. These are the cells we've been talking about all afternoon. Storms developing right now, so we need to be aware of that. So right now we only have one tornado warning. No confirmed report of a tornado on the ground, but looking at the tools that me and my team always use here, our little color tools. Don't see any debris ball with this. Just checking every now and then, just in case we do, and we don't right now. So right now, if you're in the path of the tornado warning, move to the lowest floor. Make sure the kids have a football helmet. A bike helmet would be the safest place to be. Have a bike helmet with you. Make sure everybody in that house has one. I mean, a bike helmet, flashlights in case you lose power. Definitely don't have no confirmed report a tornado on the ground right now, but this still shows some sheared with the storm, and you definitely still want to be watching that. So, yeah, they're starting to cup up a little bit again. So, yeah, it still shows signs of some pretty decent wind sheared with that. New storm showing about 30%. It's keep going up and down. So we get these sometimes they hook up and go down like that. And this is just what the start of the situation is going to be. So right now it's about 4:45. If you just join me and the team, we have a tornado warning right now. So this is the time. All right, can you hear me, Isaac? Oh, Cameron, can you hear me? I was gonna give you a update. Isaac's a little bit busy right now. He told me he put me in charge.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, all right, you can help me here. So I'll let you do some talking, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm currently about to get on here real quick and take a look at some more of the models for tomorrow. I do see we do have an active tornado warning in progress down Louisiana. This is on the early mode. I believe, yeah, this is on the early mode. We still have more hours until the main event really gets going across southern Louisiana. I believe it'll be more the nocturnal threat that will be the big problem with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys hear me?
As of
So if you're in
as
a
of right
tornado,
now,
if you're in a tornado warning, you need to be shaking some. You need to be shaking some shelter if you're in the warning right now.
Yeah, I believe that is well north of Lake Charles. Yes, it is. It's actually near the Texas border. Okay. Oh, I gotta go on here. I joined this not prepared, and that's fine.
Hey, Cameron, are you trying to
It's
share
okay.
your screen with us?
Do what now?
Are you trying to share your screen with us?
Not at the moment. I'm actually trying to get to where I need to get to currently. I'm actually just gonna pull up radar for time being on.
Oh, okay.
On my end, so I can take a look at. Yeah, I'm pulling up radar on my end real quick. Cause I did look at the storm earlier. Really, it looks all right. But like I was telling
Me too.
JD that the main event I think is going to be for another couple hours. So.
Yeah, right. Because the Storm Prediction Center has two mesoscale discussions outlooked. A lot of low-topped convection across parts of Arkansas and Louisiana. I mean, I know that this is probably going to be something that impacts your neck of the woods, Cameron. I mean, what?
Are those mesoscales are about 20%, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I'm actually right now going to look at the HRRR real quick on the 21Z run and just get a little overview of this event as a whole. I do want to really look at how the HRRR wants to play this out.
Hey, Cameron, if you want to, I think I sent you a private message. I think there was one earlier with the StreamYard info, but I have a Pivotal Weather Plus account. I mean, I might be able to share it with you, but hopefully it doesn't block so many IP addresses or something, because you never really know. Because what the other thing is, but but yeah, I'm hooking up my camera here.
Let's see here.
There we go.
Yeah, Isaac, we still got this tornado warning.
I do believe this event's gonna really ramp itself up here in the next couple of hours. So I mean, this is just the early convective stuff. This stuff's on the nose of the low-level jet, from what I'm understanding currently. Right there along kind of that triple point. Mm-hmm. But I believe here in the next couple of hours, it'll really get itself together. And really, it doesn't really show the low-level jet really getting in there until even 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Especially been looking at the XRR for tomorrow, and it's very concerning to me if we're going to be completely honest here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like the holidays. It's the holidays. That's why.
Well,
Well,
it's
yeah.
not that. It's just the dynamic of this event. This event has a very high potential to be something very serious. Especially with this kind of shear, regardless of if it's in a low instability environment. You couldn't ask for better wind shear for a tornado event in the Carolinas. You couldn't ask for anything better than that.
I'm actually going to pull up.
All right, Isaac. We still got that tornado warning.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up my radar products here in a second here. But yeah, I will follow up with what Cameron was saying. I looked at some of the high resolution guidance heading into tomorrow, and Cameron actually shared some earlier. I mean, we've seen these renegades, some discrete cells in an environment where I've seen a lot of hook signatures on the models too, which kind of makes me infer that we could have some low-level rotating updrafts potentially with some of these.
Yeah, it looks like all the supercells tomorrow will be surface-based. Could even be potentially beginning as early as 10 a.m., 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. The Raleigh and
tornado warning got canceled.
Raleigh. Yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't surprise me. It looks like that storm is really not looking all that great just then. But yeah, I mean, when you look at something like this, where I'm on the 700 millibar shear right now, this is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have widespread 65 to 75 knot shear, and then in places it's 80 to 85. You're really asking yourself, like even it's in 90 knots in some places there in Southern Virginia at 700 millibars, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, this is a textbook Carolinas and Mid-Atlantic Piedmont kind of event.
Like a textbook.
This is textbook. The only difference is that the Cape values aren't very high. Most of the high Cape values stay offshore, which is, I guess, a good thing you could say.
Are we going to see any? Are we going to see any long track tornadoes?
Well, I will get into that here in a second. That's the one thing that kind of keeps this event from being this insane, high risk, 30 hatch type of event is that the Cape values are down. You don't have all that instability that you would really, oh my God, can you please load? You don't have the instability there like you would want to. I mean, yeah, you have up to 1,000 joules, but it's right there off the coast. And you have 2,000 to 3,000 Cape in the Atlantic. That really don't. I mean, it's a good thing, but at the same time, if you're someone who's wanting to go out and chase this event tomorrow, you would hopefully take values to be a little higher, which I don't. And it's more than just one wave. Now I've noticed that on the models too. It's more than one wave of Renegade. You've got about 4 or 5 different waves of these. Like, they're little Kenny Bean style Renegades. They're going to be moving very fast, 45, 55, even 60 miles an hour at times. And then you have the second punch after these Renegades come through. You get Squall Line. And on previous runs, it just shows a really narrow, skinny line. Kind of messed up, ate up by rain. Really didn't look that impressive. But on these last couple, 2 or 3 runs, it's now showing that the Squall Line even intensifies as it moves east. Once it gets to about Raleigh, Greenville, Tarboro, Fayetteville areas of North Carolina and Southern Virginia, that's when it really gets together, and it's now more of a QLCS type of thing with discrete supercells ahead of the line. So even now, that Squall Line has that not just the damage and wind potential at this point, but it has a pretty substantial tornado threat with it as well. So it's kind of the 1-2 punch thing. This is going to be an all-day thing. I have my timing from 10 a.m. To midnight tomorrow night for North Carolina, southern and southeastern Virginia. if I were a chaser tomorrow,
It's going to be a long day.
I personally would target Southeast Virginia, Northeast and North Central North Carolina tomorrow. Probably Greenville, between Greenville, Raleigh area, and even up to even as far north as Richmond. That's probably would be my target area tomorrow. That would be my greatest tornado threat. It's in the best shear, I believe. And I just feel like it's in a better environment. I mean, yeah, you have better capes to the south, like down there around Myrtle Beach and on the far eastern coast of South Carolina. But I believe that the better supercellular progression and the better chance of seeing potentially a moderate risk upgrade if it comes is in that area. So, South Central, Southeastern Virginia, North Central to Northeastern North Carolina. I believe that will be my play for the greatest tornado potential tomorrow.
And
updraft
right here with the.
Yeah, you can see the updraft helicities are pretty interesting as well to look at.
I'm gonna look at that.
Even all the way until about 10, 11 o'clock at night, even in the midnight, the updraft helicities are much more impressive than they are during the day, which is a little scary. And I think it comes from that along. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is, it's an impressive setup, especially when it's a shear based setup. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, will we see a moderate risk, Cameron, or not?
Conceivable.
Right now, I'm not making a call. I do believe they should introduce the 10 hatch first. And
yeah,
then
I was
if they
say,
get a little more, if they get a little more confidence saying that this is going to be more of a widespread event, which I believe it will, then they will upgrade to 15 hatch moderate.
I think so too.
Just due to you just have wave after wave of these semi-discrete and even discrete renegades. They stay out ahead of the line. They move very fast, and they keep their updrafts for such a long period of time. I mean,
yeah, you can see how
you
want to have a way to get multiple ones.
They are surface-based supercells. Wow. They're not these 40, 50,000, 60,000 foot tall supercells. They're probably going to be no more than 30,000 foot tall tomorrow, but they're already surface-based.
Will we see a PDS watch?
70 to 80 knot low-level jet, and even up to 90 knot low-level jet closer to the end of this event. There's definitely tornado outbreak potential with this. I think Timmer even just
I think so too.
Tornado outbreak. This has outbreak potential for sure. Like I said, the only thing that really hurts is the lack of cape.
No.
The lack of instability is really
I just didn't know if this was going to happen on Christmas Eve.
Well, yes.
We have dealt with Christmas events before, I mean, it's just that time of year. We had an event here just recently, a couple years back in southern Mississippi, where we had a big tornado outbreak. 2016.
Yeah, it was December 23rd, 2015, right?
2016.
Yeah,
when we had that moderate risk here in
here's another record.
I mean,
what about the one hit?
I mean, it's not as common here in the Piedmont, the Mid-Atlantic region as it is in Dixie, but it's still very possible because a dynamic like this can happen. Especially when you have a big system that has this big bomb cyclone look to it, with big snow to the north, blizzard conditions in places, and even adding on to the lake effect issues. And then you have this big, just negative tilted southerly flow with high shear low cape setup, and this is what you have. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. It looks very April-ish.
Yeah.
Minus the cape value. You don't get a lot of daytime heating with this. You'll have breaks in the clouds, but it won't be anything quite like the April 16th event was here in 2011. Which I've seen some meteorologists were trying to compare this to April 16th. There's no comparison to that. That was a much different breed of an animal when it comes to severe dynamics that day. But it has its
it was just a lot of more cake with it.
Well, it's not only that. That event also was primarily during the daytime, and it was also in the middle of April. That event started fairly early as well. This event could start very early too, but most of the tornadic threat's going to happen during nighttime hours.
Yeah, that's definitely
It's gonna be a
makes it
long
all
night.
more serious.
I mean,
Well, it makes it
the whole-
dangerous because. What about rain-wrapped tornadoes? Can we
terrain's
see
not-
that?
This terrain is not the best thing either. I just recently went to this part of North Carolina in June. The terrain is not the best. The road networks are great. Terrain-wise, I don't like it. But this is the kind of setup that, a lot
I
of us
guess
have been
this
waiting
is-
for. If we're going to be completely honest, a lot of us avid meteorologists have really been looking into covering a setup like this. And here we are.
Yeah,
2 days
sure.
Christmas breaking
Christmas
down a
Eve almost.
big time event. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I think really helps out too is I think the better supercells are going to stay off the coast. That's one thing that really is helpful. But regardless of that matter, this event's going to be it's going to be a very long event, to say the least. The squall line probably won't get off the coast until about 1 to 2 a.m. Christmas morning. And I believe there will be a slight risk extended all the way to D.C. for this squall line, more than likely. And then going into southern New Jersey and into Maryland, Delaware. Enhanced risk, I think
Wow,
they
look at
should
the
have
Tether
an
age.
extra. Is that a
532.
Helicities? Yeah, the
Yeah, this
Helicities
is
are
0 to 1
ridiculous.
kilometer storm relative
Goodness.
helicity. When you're talking values like I've seen, this is the high resolution guidance from 18 Zulu, but that says 532 M2S -2. I mean, when you're seeing values that high and you're seeing a lot of that MU cape that's surface driven, I mean, this is serious. We're talking serious. I mean, possible.
Because all you really
strong
need for an
tornadoes
event
at
like
times.
this, all you need in an event like this, helicity wise, is at 250 to 300. But when you see
Yeah.
You don't have to
values
have
up to over
250.
almost 550 on helicity, and it's a very widespread area, 500 plus helicities during an extended period of time, big problems. And if you do notice, there are big helicity spikes as well along the squall line, along the cold front itself, which kind of gives me this thought process of, hey, the damaging wind threat is going to be increased. I wouldn't be surprised if they do add a hatch threat to the damaging wind threat, but they also keep the 10 hatch threat for a tornado threat along the QLCS as well, not just with these renegades.
Yeah, I will point out this enhanced risk is tornado driven. Look, I mean, there's not even a 30% on the wind. I mean,
Wow.
Very tornado driven.
they may add a hatch to this 15% area. You never know because
I
of the
won't rule
squall.
that out, guys.
May blow out a bit.
Or maybe
I mean,
if things
I
get
tornado
stronger, I
threat
won't rule out a
probably
moderate
gets
risk.
hatched. I mean, whether it becomes a moderate risk, I mean, you're seeing all these indications like a 10% a tornado area. What this shows is a probability of a tornado forming within 25 miles of any given location within here. So it's 10%. So like you go to any given location within here. This is an approximate. I mean, this is approximate. So like it's different here than in the middle of the coast and where everything does end up coming together in here. So I mean, obviously, the same geographic areas won't be. It'll be similar, but this will be different heading into tomorrow. But I mean, just
Here, Isaac, I'm going to show you something, okay? I'm going to show you something real quick, and I'll get you right back to that, okay? Look at that.
ARRR run as well. Is this the?
Look at that, Isaac.
Oh, you're showing me the. Obviously,
Current
there's an
radar.
algorithm on this
Radar.
GR level 3. It tells you whether there's a potential. I mean, there's a downdraft that's forming with that. I can tell that's why you have that purple upside down triangle that you're seeing there. That indicates that there could be something that you never know. It could be associated with the brief rear flank that could spin up. I mean, that particular cell is heading towards, if I'm not mistaken, that is the Louisiana state line. Or I'm going to have to zoom in and see what. Oh yeah, South Toledo Bend area.
Yeah,
So
Toledo Bend.
I mean,
I know a little bit about Toledo Bend.
what?
Let's see. Yeah, I know a little bit about Toledo Bend. There's a pretty world famous bass fishery that's there. Very great. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, so I mean that. So I was going to point out that area of shear that I was referring to, it's still fairly weak here, but I'm going to zoom in on my end here, just kind of trying to. But yeah, I will point out what I was saying earlier about these probabilities that you're seeing on here. These are contingent on several things. I mean, you do not see a hatch line. That would have been a black circle outline, and then you see some more like little hash marks in there. That's if you see that, then that's a hatched area on these Storm Prediction Center outlooks. And that means the probability of anything that any tornado that could be greater than EF2 within 25 miles of any given location. And it's conceivable they may introduce that in a later outlook.
Do that.
And they might have hinted.
Yeah, I won't roll it out.
They did.
I mean, it probably will be day one at
early.
some point. But I'm just saying, you know,
I won't be surprised after midnight that'll happen.
That's why this outlook
Cameron, I won't be surprised if that after midnight.
Because there's not as much mixed layer cape with this setup. It's mostly surface based, and I'm gonna go back to this
it's
sound
most
video
definitely
and just
surface based. Most
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
and you can also tell in the photographs. You can tell in the photographs the storm motions tomorrow are going to be outrageously fast. These aren't going to be like typical Carolina events where you're moving 30 to 35 miles an hour. These things could be moving up to 60 tomorrow. They're going to be
you can see right here.
55 to 65 mile per hour movers at times. I mean, they're going to roll. Not going to be a lot of time for you to sit around and just wait. I mean,
okay, here's a storm slinky. You can see this is kind of something that I look at too. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is the red color, that's 0 to 1. Green is 1 to 2. Yellow is 2 to 3. So I mean, no, I'm just seeing right here. You can definitely tell. Just that air further aloft there, it's mostly packed together on that slinky, so that might be hinting towards. Well, obviously, it's my understanding in a photograph. Basically, this is south, this is north, this is west, this is east. It's backwards.
Yes, it's backwards.
Because storms move generally from west to east, and normally, normally what you'd see here is that. I mean, you can definitely tell that the winds really do pick up from 0 to 1 kilometers there. That is very strong winds. See near the surface, this is about 10 to 20 knots. This is 60 knots right here, and even further aloft, like near the 60 to 70, or somewhere in between, neighborhood of 58 to 65 knots somewhere being depicted with this. I mean, this could be. Again, this is very fast-moving storms that we're talking about for tomorrow. So, I mean, just seeing how the winds really do pick up. There is very strong vertical wind shear, and just 0 to 1 kilometers. Oh yeah, that's what I was depicting there earlier. Yeah, 46 knot shear. I mean, you'll see that being a dominant concern as we go throughout tomorrow, and obviously this is associated with those supercells. And I'm gonna turn my focus back over the next couple of hours while I look on there. Obviously,
wow, that looks very intense.
A widespread helicity along that.
You must be referring to what's up?
Which I mean, you can see how well the helicity spikes are along the front.
Yeah,
I mean it's very.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell very obvious, and they get more defined as it as you move east with it, as you go through with time, as that squall line becomes a little more defined, especially once it gets around.
Oh yeah, you
Raleigh
can see
or
right
so.
here where it really spikes from near 0 to like 500. Yeah, that is really packed together. And then you see any moisture, like a lot of any convection that forms here, it's gonna be really tightly affected by this front. So I mean, definitely very strong downdrafts as this pushes through. Nevertheless, so significant wind concern. I mean, yeah, and then
you see, it has like the secondary.
You
have the secondary wave of helicity. I guess that's within the southern mode of the linear setup. That might be behind the front by that point.
Yeah, I mean,
what about the significant tornado parameters?
That's before everything exits out to it. Just
look here.
Up. Yeah, that's when
so like right around here. So you look at this helicity spike, 500, right as this boundary's pushing in. So I mean, far northeast, North Carolina.
Impossible.
Oh, this is 598. Look at this. Look at this.
Closest.
Well,
I saw 598. I mean, it's probably near 600 somewhere. Oh yeah, I thought I saw a 600 somewhere. So yeah, 613 SRH, 0 to 1 kilometer in some areas. Yeah, I mean, right as this pushes through, we'll see how much
the battery's really charged.
This is the new sounding that's generating.
Impressive. Very impressive.
So that means the battery is really charged. We got everything we need now, right?
I am awaiting the 0Z run because I have no idea what's.
Sorry, I was having a little bit of trouble connecting to the internet there. So, there we are. New sounding generated. Oh yeah, 505 is being returned there, but I saw some 600 plus SRH, and just right around here, you can see a lot of this area is nearly saturated. So I mean, if we see some slightly steeper lapse rates too, I mean that is gonna cause much stronger instability, even more elevated instability. But I mean, we don't have to see higher lapse rates for this to be pretty significant deal. Just looking at this sounding here, I mean, just looking at. Okay. Oh, this one's showing motion near 80 knots. 75 to 80 knots at times. So I mean, if we're talking storm motion like that, and then just everything that's all right. So yeah, you can see. Sorry, I got interrupted there.
We
but
definitely got everything on the table now. I mean, so everybody just needs to have a way to receive warnings, right, Isaac?
Yeah, correct. I mean, these are going to be potentially very fast-moving storms, and there will be potentially little time to react to warnings. So, I mean, you could have warnings for a storm over here. 15 minutes later, it's like right here producing all sorts of damage and whatnot. I mean, I've seen stuff like that happen before. Yeah,
so,
I mean,
are we going to require emergency feed coverage on this storms moving quicker than more, Isaac?
Not immediately likely, but it is still a possibility that we'll reach that point there. So I'm gonna narrow our focus down to the next couple of hours. But yeah, I'm gonna switch the region back. I'm gonna focus on a broad section of the southeast and collectively. So
yeah,
you can see a little bit of helicity spikes along that.
I do want to point out here, Isaac. I just kind of want to point this out. I would not rule out a severe threat further north of where projected target area is today. Yes, I know the main focal point here today, southwestern Mississippi, central Louisiana, but I am really wondering if this squall line to the north across central and eastern Arkansas moving into West Tennessee, North Mississippi can really get its act together tonight.
Oh yeah, you can.
Because according to the trends here, it looks like this thing kind of just goes AWOL, really, truthfully.
Yeah, there's a
Around
little bit
the
less
9 to 10
instability in this area, but look at the HRRR is showing it says possible hazard type marginal tornado. But what I'm seeing here is that see the storm motion is a little bit further less. Now we're talking like a little under 40 miles per hour, and the dew points are in the 50s. And then we're talking much less in the way of instability. So I mean, if we get something that
it'll be a damaging,
a little bit further upscale, that could produce a downdraft and maybe a brief spin-up tornado. You never know.
Yeah, I definitely think
we're
that
north
there's
of
damage
the
wind
Memphis
potential
area
with
or
it.
parts of West Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it can hold together, which I mean, according to trends, it will hold together. There will likely be a damaging wind potential. More so from probably about.
Yeah, I was going to show you something again on the radar again.
Down to West Mississippi. But this line, even to the south, once the supercells really merge and all become one with the line, it really becomes rained out from that point. So you really
Look at
only
that,
have
Isaac.
a couple.
We got a new marker showing.
You have only a couple hour period for these storms to really do their thing before the line catches them. So the supercells that are going off right now are just on the nose of that low level jet. So they really need to. They're going to try to get themselves together.
Yeah, right.
Like that storm we're looking at right here. I believe that's still in Texas. Yeah, that's that storm near Toledo Bend. I mean, it's still rather early.
8% again.
This event really wasn't supposed to start for another couple of hours. But I mean, it is what it is. They'll get their stuff together. They'll have a brief tornado threat early on, and then they'll have the better tornado threat later tonight. I think especially storms that develop off the Gulf and move up into that Lake Charles, and points north and east, even probably as far north as Alexandria, will probably have the greater threat for the tornado threat that is. Tornado threat's not going to last very long tonight. I don't think it'll be more of a damaging wind mode based event, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'm going to switch to.
I believe the better shears to the north is a little more back to the north than it is down here, but you have better instability here to the south. But
yeah, I'll say what I'm seeing is a broad area, like an area that it's not gate to gate shear, but still a little bit broader than that, just north of Jasper towards Browndell. I mean, it's probably in excess of 30-ish knots or so. I mean, this isn't strongly coupled together, but I mean, there's still sufficient low top convection that's brewing up, and we're going to be paying close attention to the next couple of hours, how everything tries to get organized, and as we get more convergence with this front here, and I'm gonna show you what I mean here.
Is that the 7 or 8 o'clock run there?
Oh, this
I believe that's
this I have up. Yeah, this is the 18 Zulu run. I'm gonna go to the 22 Zulu. So 22 Zulu, that would be 4 o'clock p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So what I was asking was what timing are you on there? Are you on the 01Z for Thursday, or are you on the 7 o'clock run, the 0Z?
This is Wednesday, 22 Zulu HRRR.
No, I'm talking about the other one. So
the other one.
Yes.
Oh, earlier I had the 18 Zulu run because it had all the guidance, the high resolution guidance available for tomorrow.
Okay.
So definitely you need to have your plan in place tonight.
I was talking about the validation time. You know, like you go underneath your composite reflectivity and it shows you your different.
Oh yeah, this is valid. Yes.
Your validation through Thursday, whenever. Because right now I'm looking at I believe this is the 8 o'clock run off the 22Z run.
Yeah, 8 o'clock off the 22 Z run. This would be 0 Zulu.
Okay, yeah, we're looking at the same thing. But you can notice even then how linear these storms become. You have a few storms that are going to try to get themselves together, but you can see the line itself is beginning to become linear, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because once 9 o'clock rolls around, this entire line is merged, I believe. It's either by 9 or 10 o'clock, this whole line's merged.
Yeah, you can see.
Is this AM or 9 AM?
Tries to merge it.
PM.
or this area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See by 9 o'clock tonight, that line is completely converged, and it's
Oh
beginning
yeah,
to be
this
messy.
line and
So
this
the time,
line they merge. Yeah.
yeah, it's beginning to merge fairly quickly. So your room for a tornado threat tonight, if it happens, is going to happen within the next couple of hours. Because after that, good luck.
Yeah, sure. It depends on how quickly this stuff down here congeals too, because a lot of this is low topped, and if it organizes that quickly, you can definitely tell how everything comes together there.
Correct.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Tomorrow's going to be more bad.
Yeah, it's going to be more active tomorrow, of course. You can see how quickly this line races into up the Tennessee Valley, and then some early indication for tomorrow. You can see as this kind of approaches the foothills of the Appalachians here, obviously up towards I mean, this
It's
is
going to be rather rough, to say the least.
in the Panhandle of Florida by tomorrow sunrise.
So this is going to be a long night. You think so, Isaac?
Well, yeah, we'll
Tonight
just
shouldn't
keep
be too bad, I don't think. We'll probably have a few severe thunderstorm warnings here and now. We might have a tornado warning or so. I mean, there won't be just many tornado warnings tonight. The line is really going to get rained out for the most part. It gets more of a marginal threat the farther east you get with the line, especially once it enters into central and southern Alabama, Panhandle of Florida. I think the warnings you will probably get are going to be further south into southern Mississippi, southeastern Louisiana, and the line will continue to weaken as it marches east. But this is the beginning.
Then we have to worry about the next one.
Sure.
Well, we don't really know much about this next setup. We'll find out soon enough. But tonight will be a good warm-up for the most part in comparison to what we believe tomorrow will turn out to be. So,
well, and the night needs tonight. We need to figure out where you want to go in case a tornado won't even get into tomorrow. These will be a fast-moving storms, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, you're looking at the 1 hour updraft helicity there. 1 hour. This is 1 hour maximum, or whatever spans over an hour. But yeah, you can see some of the tracks that I'm seeing on here. Looks like we have some stronger updraft helicity to watch out for in northern Arkansas, eyeballing areas near the Mississippi River there.
I'll be up here in my viewing area. That will be my viewing area here. Eastern Arkansas, Western Tennessee, Northwest Mississippi. That would be my viewing area. I did make a post earlier alerting the fact that there would be a damaging wind threat tonight. If warnings were to be issued, they would be for damaging winds, but I said do not rule out the potential for a brief tornado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely just looking at this.
I'm
about 40 to 50 somewhere. M2S minus 2, yeah.
Yeah. Compared to what tomorrow is going to look like. Oof.
Is it going to be like? Is it going to be like November 17, 2013?
Well, I mean,
no, absolutely not. There's going to be very few events that happen during the fall and the winter compared to that event.
Yeah,
that was a bad one.
That was very, very rare. That kind of dynamic to do that was very rare. You don't see that.
I mean, that's probably once in several hundred years you get a day like November 17th, like that late in the season in a C or D climate classification, in my opinion. Normally
get a system like that time of year, you're looking at snow. You're not looking at a widespread high-risk tornado outbreak.
Yeah,
that's the last thing you think about in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan in November is tornado outbreak.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see a lot of these updrafts near the Mississippi River. Oh yeah, we're gaining new stuff on this run. It refreshes on its own. That's pretty good. But I mean, you can see the strongest updraft helicity as it persists during the late evening into early overnight hours. I mean,
Yeah, as I said, this is gonna be like the tornado threat today. It's not gonna really be there. Given that it's gonna be
Yeah, it doesn't look like
in
it.
the middle of the night, you don't have the instability there. The best shear's not there either.
No, you don't have the instability.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's just a lot of factors that there's storms become elevated pretty quickly. But it's gonna be a whole different ball game tomorrow compared to what we will be dealing with tonight.
Mm-hmm. There'll be a lot of talking.
You can see how progressive this is. I mean, I'm
That's what you
gonna
see.
probably switch back
like
to the greater than 75 updraft helicity reflectivity here.
What'd you say?
It was one
What'd
of the
you say,
products I
Cameron?
was looking at.
I said, this is what you want to see. You want to see fast progressions. You can see the helicities going off tomorrow. Eastern South Carolina, Central North Carolina. Oh goodness, it's gonna be long.
I bet Chad would be tasting that, maybe.
I don't know.
Nah.
A lot. I'm just saying, a lot of people that target and chase and whatnot. I know a lot of people have announced plans to at least target this area. You got to be aware of the dangers of chasing and everything like that too, because like Cameron pointed out earlier, is that this is a very strong indication of helicity there. I mean, this is showing updraft helicity in excess of 60 to 70 into S-2, or no, sorry, my trackpad was doing that. But yeah, I mean, and then this is very hilly terrain, so some things could be rain wrapped heading into tomorrow as well. So I mean,
that means you're not going to.
It's not necessarily the most hilliest terrain. Like it's very wooded. Very wooded for the most part. But regardless of the matter, I think most of these Hornet supercells will be high precip supercells. They will be wrapped in rain. Because a lot of the supercells early on are going to be.
You're not going to see it.
They're going to be molded together. They're going to be very messy. So, but after that, I mean,
it covering the warnings.
They'll be discreet from that point on. At a certain time frame. You can just see how quick the development is. You can see how quick they develop. Once they go, 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I mean, that's.
Somebody just made a quick question here, Isaac, so you can read it here, okay?
Oh yes, let me pull it up. When the low-level jet becomes
more perpendicular to the cold front and upper air mechanisms, will make the upticks overnight in Louisiana. I completely agree with that. Damaging winds will be the dominant mode. As I was looking at earlier, it seemed like the trend were that the mode was going to, the storm motions and the storm mergers, they were going to happen kind of quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of looking at progressions already, our storms aren't going to be able to remain discrete for very long. And then they all
see, like right here,
go upscale very quickly. So yeah, I think the damage will probably be
quickly
best.
congeals with this line. Yeah,
I completely agree. Like the damage wind threat will be the primary threat, like I was explaining earlier. Southern Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and then the line kind of weakens some as it marches east into Alabama and Florida.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see the same thing too. I mean, people need to have their way to get warnings tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at some of the discrete nature of some of these. I mean, that form out further ahead of this. I mean, you can see there's a. I think there might be a little bit of something.
You have a few there, but there's not many.
Yeah, I mean, there's not as much.
I don't want to see no long track tornadoes.
There's a little bit of an inversion layer right there too. Maybe a bit of a capping inversion at the ground too.
Yeah, I think the thing that really hurts this event from being more of a tornadic event is the fact that the winds are not backed. They're not very backed at all. That's kind of also another thing that can make this would be more of a damaging wind mode. Simply due to the wind shear in general is just not there.
Yeah,
What about Isaac seeing long track tornadoes? You think we'll see one of them tomorrow?
Well, obviously, to answer the question for tonight, obviously these these potential like supercellular storms will be lower topped, and they're not, and they're going to really congeal with that line. And heading into tomorrow, obviously,
they're going to congeal quickly. I mean, they're going to be small supercells. They're going to be surface-based supercells tonight, but they're going to be moving very fast. The tornado threat with them
popcorn cells.
Very long. They're not going to be very long lasting tornadoes because they will get ate up by the line very quickly. But that will be a totally different ballgame tomorrow. We will see multiple waves of renegades tomorrow.
What about tomorrow?
Potential multiple waves of tornadoes. I mean, tomorrow's
I will be surprised if a day that is going in the record books, right?
No,
perhaps
it won't. I don't think it will quite be a record kind of day, but it will be. It will be one of the more active, severe days we've had in quite some time, for sure.
Since Easter.
I guess you could say since Easter. Probably more so since the High Plains events back in the early summer.
I was going to say, comparing something like this to something that happens in late April, like remember what happened on Easter Sunday? We've had a lot of supercells in a targeted area. This is going to be a area where it could be more broad scale, obviously more discrete. So whether it's not going to be something that's like as packed together and whatnot, but yeah, it's going to be a fairly broad area to watch out for.
Yeah, I was going
to get a question here, Isaac.
Facebook there. Yeah, there could be a few. There could be the potential for a tornado threat on the QLCS, but that threat's really not all that impressive either. If we're going to be completely honest, it's not. It's there, but it's not. If the tornado threat's going to be there, it's going to be short-lived, brief tornado potential with it.
Yeah, then that will be short-lived because the front will undercut them. Yeah, that sounds right.
There you go.
Because this is a very fast-moving front, because there's going to be little opportunity for anything that develops, sick on the ground for.
Well, see, the system as a whole goes through the transition phase. It goes from this positive tilt that it is.
They will be short-lived, and
it's going to be transition to neutral tilt tonight. By the time the line gets into eastern Louisiana, southern.
All right, here's another question here again. They will be short-lived.
Yeah, that
they'll be short-lived.
A couple of times. It just hasn't gone away. Me and Isaac were just discussing that. But as I was saying, tonight's that transition zone for the system itself, because once everything ejects out and the line begins to pick up speed, the system's going to obtain its negative tilt, and that's what coming into for tomorrow, talking about the tornado stuff for tomorrow. But tonight is that transition period from when the system goes from this slightly positive tilt like it is now to more of a neutral tilt later on the night once the line does completely congeal, to tomorrow when it is a full-blown negative tilted system as it ejects and marches east.
Mm-hmm. You're going to look at some of these upper height maps.
I believe it will obtain negative tilt probably sometime early tomorrow morning, probably the 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning kind of time frame.
Oh, yeah, you can see right here.
That's
negative tilt right there.
Yeah, once it obtains negative tilt, it's going to be very quick. Very quick.
Yeah, you can see.
You can notice there's a lot of
positive, neutral, negative right there. Yeah.
That's another big focal point too. Look at all the backside flow you have. That's another key component to have
90
big time severe events or tornado events.
That is really cold air.
That's substantial
in right into the coast further aloft. look at these upper level winds, 124 knots. I mean, that mixes in with the conditions further down towards the surface, probably 850 or whatever. That's really going to enhance that mid level flow that's present there too. So I mean, that's going to
the backside
cause
flow
more
really
problems
aids
in
your
terms of helicity and everything.
any sort of backside flow you have of any significance, especially if it's over 40 knots, really aids, especially like when you have a system like this that goes negative with backside flow like this.
Mm-hmm.
It really aids your mid and lower level shear out ahead on the warm sector, and that's what really gets your better dynamic for your severe episodes, and that's no different from any system we see in the plains or here in Dixie, Because, I mean, look at that. You got insane backside flow. You probably have it on the mid and the low levels as well, where you have this insane flow on the back end of the system.
Yeah.
People don't look into the backside flow near as much as they should when it comes to these big severe events, but it's a big component. Backside
this
flow
is the
helps
night,
aid
Cameron, you
your
want
shear
to have.
values big time.
I mean, like I said, this is the night you want to have your weather radio and get everything ready in case you go under tornado warnings tomorrow.
Right.
We are probably going to see quite a few tornado warnings tomorrow as well. I hate to be like that, but I believe we will see quite a few tornado warnings tomorrow. Probably rather early as well.
Cameron, if you could chase tomorrow, would you do it?
If I could, I would, and I'll tell you where I would target, why I would target that area. Tomorrow would be a good day to chase, really and truthfully, if it wasn't worth the 13-hour drive to getting there.
Yeah.
But as I stated earlier in the show, I already know where I would target. I've got my target area locked up in mind of where I would be and why I would be there.
I'll be the same spot you would.
You really and truthfully have probably 3 different areas you want to really keep your eye on tomorrow. Like, if you're a chaser, I would probably be east of Florence in South Carolina on the the eastern portion of South Carolina, up to about New Bern, North Carolina. Then you have that secondary area north of Raleigh, from Raleigh to South Central Virginia. And then you have the entire northeast quadrant of North Carolina into southeastern Virginia, which I think would be the greatest concern area. That would be my main target area tomorrow. I would probably target from Richmond down to Greenville and over to Elizabeth City. You could probably get away with seeing a tornado or two tomorrow on the Outer Banks, if we're going to be completely honest here.
Oh yeah. And you can see that back level of flow really does consist. Mm-hmm. And then even into
look at that.
Look at how negatively
tilted that is, gentlemen. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely negative at this point.
And then it's like positive. Then next scan you get like, boop, there it is.
Yeah, it's a pretty insane system. I mean, this is one of the more dynamic systems. The same system we're dealing with blizzard conditions up in the
all right, here, Isaac. I was going to show you something again.
Midwest.
Yeah.
Another marker again popped up. 30% of that coming severe.
And again, that computer algorithm, it's factoring like how far how significantly sheared that is.
Sometimes you can get those markers, and it really don't add up to where it is in relation to the body of the storm, or even remotely close to your area of circulation. Sometimes those markers can really fool you.
Right.
You have to be really focused in on, where the location of that marker is and why it's there, not just so much as there's a marker there. Sometimes that marker can be extremely deceiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be something that we'll have to watch really closely.
Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, tomorrow. I figured this.
It's gonna be a scary day. You
figured
think?
at the lunch update. I figured on the lunch update today we would have gotten the enhanced update, which we did. Upgrade we did. I was really surprised they didn't go hatch
Yep,
yet.
I would agree with. Yep.
I believe they will.
After midnight.
I
You
believe
think
they
tomorrow
will
after midnight they'll introduce the
and
hatch?
then if Trent, yes, and then I believe afterward, if Trent continues to be the way they are, I believe they will go moderate risk.
Yeah,
I
if
think
the
they will
trends
too.
are
A
a
moderate
little
risk
bit higher,
is worse than a
probably
high
too.
risk.
And I honestly believe that the moderate risk is probably going to be either one really large
Or
moderate
tornadoes.
risk, or it will all be tornado driven, of course. It could
So it'd be
it could just be the
15%.
entire eastern. It will be 15 hatch, yes.
A 15 hatch is worse than a 45
the only way
hatch, right?
the only way for a moderate risk to be upgraded, being a tornado driven event, it would have to be a 15 hatch. It can't be anything else.
Yeah, right.
Because you can have a 15. You can have a 15. You can have a 15% that isn't hatched, and it could still be enhanced, I believe. But if you include that hatch line,
probably.
it will go moderate.
Yeah, right. They have a certain criteria for each category.
I also have never seen a 15% without a hatch. They normally just keep a 10% with no hatch.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, in order for a high risk to be issued, for example.
It would have to be a 30% with a hatch.
Yeah, 30% in hatch, and then you have to have an accompanying. You have to have accompaniment with like some form of like hail and wind outline too. Like that's over like 30%.
Over, it has to be 30. Yeah, it has to be 30%.
Yeah, right around that base. That has to be the baseline criteria for something like that.
Which tomorrow, if that were to be the case, which it's not going to be, it would be damaging wind for sure.
Yeah,
right. Tomorrow really don't look all that great because these storms are surface based, not going to be elevated 60,000 footers like we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, with that, kind of seems like as we're continuing to take a look at things as they're pushing into Louisiana and Texas, we're not really seeing much developing with that, but still, there's still plenty of low top convection. Looks like it's still modestly sheared in some places, but I believe we'll start seeing some additional developments as we go throughout the evening, and we'll be sure to keep everyone posted. But I'm going to go ahead and terminate the live feed, and we will be back on another feed if we start getting additional developments from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to actually check that real quick, see if anything did get adjusted here over the past few hours. Yeah, it looks like I'm actually going to take a look at this. I'm actually going to pull this up on the stream window real quick just to show you guys another concern we have with these blizzard conditions that are in place across sections of Minnesota. I mean, complete, looks like we got snow cover across like sections of I-90, I bet sections of I-35 to experiencing partial to complete snow cover. I mean, 1 to 2 inch per hour heavy snow rates. This will continue to this evening. It's shifting eastward. Looks like a few more hours potentially. I mean, it's meeting the point where there's not as the winds are kind of subsiding, and then there's not as much moisture that's going to feel for these heavy snow rates. So that's going to kind of cause the blizzard conditions to slowly kind of wane down as they push into like Wisconsin and everything. But yeah, I mean,
Nevertheless,
this was
you're
a
still
very,
going to have winds gusting 25 to 35 at minimum, as this
Mhm.
moves east.
right, right. But yeah,
1 to 2 inch rain spread. That's still pretty hefty. I mean, it's not like 3 to 5 that we were seeing the other night up in the Northeast, but I mean, it's still pretty impressive.
yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I
I'm
mean,
jealous. I would trade.
yeah, if please make sure you follow all uh, travel, local and state travel and health guidelines if you have to travel for Christmas. I mean, wishing you all a merry, safe, and warm, of course, Christmas. And if you, we will be back soon with more feed coverage, and we'll see you soon. Yeah,